Hello, everybody! Welcome back to the Scrollies podcast. I am Sqat Cobbler, and I am joined today by my co-host.
Hey, Sqat. Here's a podcast host partner. It might come in handy if you, the master of podcasting, take it with you.
Wow, you really put a lot of effort into that line reading. Wow, I'm amazed.
What's up? It's Team Ratnado. Hello. How you doing, Sqat Cobbler? Sorry, Sqat Gobbler. Or has that time passed?
That time has passed. We are now in Christmas season, Cute-vember. What a great one it was. So many cute moments. Kat just really loved all the cute games played. Tuned in for every single stream.
It seems like Sqat Gobbler comes and goes faster every single year, Sqat.
It really does. You know, I miss shedding the mantle, but I look forward to the next time I can take it on. Let me tell you, not only has the Sqat Gobbler mantle been shed, Ratnado, but as we look forward to this final month of 2022, we look back on games of the past here at Scrollies and games to come.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking voice acting, and we are doing so with a very special guest. I encountered this individual several times throughout Koopa races of 2020 and 2021. First in chat, and then as our commentator, the Coin Commissioner. But you all may know him better as Zach from SaveDataTeam. Welcome.
Hello, Scrollies Nation. Is that what you call your fans? I have no idea. Scrollers?
I believe it's a Scrollies Squadnado is I think what we're going with.
Scrollies Squadnado. Hello, Scrollies Squadnado. How are we doing?
Yo, this is perfect, actually. It's both International Voice Acting Day and International Zach from SaveDataTeam Day. This is amazing.
What a coincidence, though, fell on the same day this year.
Yeah, I'm so thankful I lobbied my local government to pass that as a national holiday. Not national, but...
We had to compete with like 5 other podcasts to get them, so you're welcome, Squadnado.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. We're looking forward to discussing this matter with you. I, for one, very much enjoy tuning into the Save Data streams where they voice act Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
And
many other games, honestly. Yeah.
Text-heavy games. Today, we're going to be talking about games that do the heavy lifting for us and voice act themselves. Zach, do you recall your first fully voice-acted games?
Fully voiced. Dang. I was like, I know exactly what the first voice I heard in a video game was. First fully voiced, kind of cheating because it's not entirely, there's a few lines that aren't, but Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube, I remember for the time, I was shocked. Because it was like a genuinely almost 80-hour JRPG for your first time playing through it. And so much of that game is voice acted, and so much of it is done really, really well. Game is a banger story, and at the time I was like, damn, that's hot that they voice acted the hell out of this.
Fantastic. And what was the first voice, if you don't mind me asking as well?
It was one of the first video games I have a memory of playing, which is Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
Very first fight of the game, Gabby J. The announcer goes, Gabby J! And it's just like 90-year-old man who you're about to beat the shit out of goes, yay! And then you proceed to beat the hell out of him. But I remember thinking that's just the funniest shit ever because it's so pathetic how he just goes, yay! And then you start to pound in his face. It's good stuff.
Amazing. Well, you know, that would be a core memory if I had played that myself. Ratnado, what was the first voice and or fully voice acted game you recall hearing?
Oh Lord. You know what, it's actually kind of crazy, especially what we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Plaidman. I don't know if you can really say it, and that's a little bit, short, so I'll go really quick. Sega, I believe that's actually a person which was shrunk down really, really tiny.
Sega!
Classic. Yeah.
I never even thought about it. Someone had to say Sega in order for them to get it in there.
No, it's really good.
Wow.
They do have some things where I think they can trick it and make it seem like it is, but I believe that is a sample that was just completely ripped apart until it was nothing, basically.
Yeah.
And somehow it worked. So either that, or actually, I think it was a game called D. I don't know if any of you ever heard of that. I think it had voice acting in it.
D.
Don't think I have. What system was it on?
It was on, I believe, Sega Saturn and PlayStation. And as I remember, it wasn't very good, as most were at the time. And as well, at the exact same time, I remember, like I said up top, I was quoting something, Resident Evil 1 on PlayStation 1.
Wow.
Good one.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Yep. Jill Sandwich, Jill, all the incredible lines that they probably did not pay those people anything to voice act, nor do they deserve to be paid for their work.
Yeah, a storied past. I think I'm not sure, Zach. I think we're maybe more around the same age, and Sqat is a little younger. But we weathered through it. We made it through it, and now we're here where we're getting legit actors to do amazing jobs. Sqat, what about you, man?
Yeah, you 90s kids really, went through the ringer, just, through the cringe early days of voice acting, which I'm sure we'll talk about, up to modern day with having professional celebrity voices in your video games. Man, I feel like I always knew this world. And yet, if I think about it, just based on what I owned, I don't think I actually would have played a fully voice acted game. Because you see, as we all know, I skipped over the GameCube. I had the N64 and went right into the Wii, which is, as we all know, Zach's favorite console.
I hate that console. I don't hate it. It's just, there's nothing redeemable about it. So maybe I do hate it. I don't know. Hate that god controller. Hate motion controls. Get him out of my games, folks.
Hot takes off the bat. We love to hear them from our guests, no less. Not even from myself this time. So direct all your hate mail to the Scrollies podcast Discord channel on Ratnados. But
that's fair.
We'll respond to it in turn. The N64, it did have voice-acted games. Star Fox 64, as we all know, was fully voice-acted. I didn't play it, though, so I can't count that one. So it would have had to be my first game on the Wii, which was Sonic and the Secret Rings?
Oh no!
Was that my first fully voice-acted game?
Way.
I refuse. I refuse to believe it. No. It has to be something else. And thankfully, I think it is. I played computer games as well at the time, and those had a lot more space than the the standard console game. So it was pretty common, I think, for voice and voice acting to be more regularly included in a PC release. Yeah. So I played a lot of sim games, business sim games. Those usually weren't voice acted. But I also played a lot of edutainment games, usually intended for children with licensed characters on them or otherwise colorful cartoons and colors that pop, and you teach kids their ABCs through them.
You gonna start talking about some humongous games?
I never thought I would talk about this game ever on Scrollies, but it just popped into my head, and now's the time. Arthur's Camping Adventure, featuring everyone's favorite anthropomorphic aardvark, the lovable character. And I just found out that show just ended last year.
Yeah,
it was going all the way up until 2021, maybe even this year.
Insane.
End of an era, some say.
Yeah. But no, Arthur's Camping Adventure, it featured a pretty in-depth story where the gang you all know and love, Binky, Arthur, DW, Buster, all the rest, they get lost in the wilderness when Mr. Ratburn trips and sprains his ankle. And this is, the early 2000s, so they didn't have cell phones or something, I guess. I don't know. So you have to wander your way around this campground and into caves and up mountains and collect things in order to light a signal or radio transmitter. I think it had multiple endings. I don't know.
It had multiple endings?
Yeah, this was an in-depth storyline.
Oh my god.
So that game featured the entire Arthur cast, voice acted, I want to say by their TV counterparts, but this is going off young Sqat's memory, so I can't say for sure. But that's what I'm going with. Arthur's Camping Adventure, my first fully voice acted game, because I don't want it to be Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Dang. Oh gosh.
Was there an ending where Arthur dies? You failed the quick time event?
I think no. There was a rock slide. See, there's a QTE event where you have to press a button in order to make him dodge stuff. But I don't think it's possible to die. I think you just get hit and you he sets out or something. So they're not gonna kill him in a kid's game.
I was joking.
That'd be traumatic.
The game over of that is just that he has a bad day at that point, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
The end screen is the fist, the tight fist meme.
So, Zach, we're here today talking about voice acting, as we stated before. But this industry has seen miles and miles of progress in a very short span of time.
Yeah.
The 90s were not a great time for this component of the video gaming scene.
No.
Not at all. I think there are reasons for this relating to budget, relating to time, relating to hardware limitations, but I think it also contributes to the charm of some of these older games. In fact, when I was considering playing Symphony of the Night about a year ago, I was trying to decide which version to play, the PS1 original or the PSP port, which had fully revoiced lines throughout the entire game. And everyone told me, no, play the original.
Yes.
The voice acting is so bad and you'd be missing out without it.
It is iconic.
And having played each of them now, I have to say they were completely right.
Yep.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets.
Exactly.
Die, monster. You don't belong in this world.
So good. Like, it's, have at you. It's amazing.
Zach, would you say this is like kind of a big part of, I mean, for you, voice acting, you kind of do it a little bit too. And I mean, as someone who plays D&D and has to do some voices sometimes and is now like doing a little bit of voice acting in games I play, do you love it? I think it's really fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any type of acting, I mean, my degree is in acting. Like, I pursued that because I think it's genuinely so much fun and has a lot to offer, and that's a whole thing we can get into. But like the nature of it, of getting to play and tell stories in fun and interesting ways, whether that be through voice acting, whether that be on stage, in movies, etc. But there's just a lot of really cool things that can be done with acting, and you don't need a degree to do it. Like, please God, I think me and Wes, who is my partner a lot of the voice acting on Save Data, just saddled with student loans over things that I don't think you need that much training for. Don't get me wrong, I do not regret going to college and getting a degree in acting. I learned a lot about myself. Do I think that I needed that to do a lot of the things you see people doing? No.
Right.
But it does take a lot of discipline, and that was definitely instilled in me in college.
No, I think something that we do recognize, especially as we're talking about like early video games, there is an art to it. And I think we're talking about a lot of bad games. I know, Sqat, I'm not trying to undermine you, but you said there was a lot of bad 90s voice acting. I just want to shout out kind of my first good voice acting, which is Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah,
I think we've all streamed Metal Gear Solid. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So this is the constant of the save Cognado. No, I'm glad you bring up Metal Gear Solid. Kojima was trying to push the envelope in just cinematic storytelling in gaming.
100%.
In a way that had never been done before when it came to cutscenes, when it came to big set piece moments, and when it came to the voices. He hired actual professional voice actors. Notable names such as David Hayter, Paul Eiding, Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale famously never got another job in the industry.
Man.
Maybe someday she'll come back and voice act other roles. She was great in that.
Underrated, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see her in something else.
Literally anything. The fun thing about Metal Gear is, like, obviously Kojima famously wanted to make movies before he got into games, and then like even now I feel like in everything he does you still feel that like push and pull to make movies. And I think like a couple of years ago when he formed Kojima Productions, he mentioned, there was some interview where he's like, yeah, you know, maybe I'll do a film, and everybody's like, oh shit, this could be his moment. He's got the budget, he's got all the friends in Hollywood, what's gonna happen? And I don't know, maybe someday. I like that he makes games still. Obviously it's my personal favorite form of entertainment, but we'll see. I think his unique style of pushing, like you said, pushing the envelope of what cinematic storytelling can be done in games has obviously helped the industry as a whole. But it's always exciting to see whatever his next project will be, even if I didn't necessarily love Death Stranding.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Proc,
that's a whole other conversation right there.
Yeah, we don't have to go down that route.
Proc, stand back.
No, but that's kind of crazy because it was like this, I don't know, pillar, and it still kind of is, of everyone just being like, yeah, that's great voice acting, great story, all that kind of stuff. And it still seems like it's taken everybody else a long time to get on board. Like, so long. Because, I mean, even after that, you have, I mean, famous examples. I don't want to, like, you know, just say these and toss them out and have them be done. But, I mean,
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light.
Yeah.
those kind of things. Your Mega Man X4.
Yes,
Iris.
I was about to bring that one up. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. The
No, this isn't happening. There's no reason for me to go on. What am I fighting for?
like so iconic.
That 4 is like how you know, like that's how I would do it. When I like you, I mean the collective you. What am I fighting for? You know, like
It's so good. They're like, you can hear it like step down the octave. It's like down the scale, like he's doing a scale in reverse. It's like, what was the choice there? I have no idea. Like I wish that somebody like with budget with a channel or whatever would go and track down the people who did all these lines and be like, so what happened? Like, what was the recording situation? Were you just like the janitor that they pulled in off the street to do this? Because in some cases, that's kind of what happens. Especially like a lot of those early games. I know for me, an extremely iconic sound is like the early Mario Party sound effects. Like Wario going,
So I missed.
is like so burnt into my brain. And that actually was one of the German localizers of the game. They pulled him in to record it. And he's not saying, "Do I missed." It's like, "So I missed," which in German is like, "Ah, crap." But they just kept it for the English version, which is like so crazy. And like, there's tons of stuff like stories like that. Yeah. Or even Ace Attorney, they had the English localizers do the voiceovers for the objection and stuff like that. And they're just like a couple lines, but it's so funny to see how that was such a second thought in games. And now, like you said, they're hiring full-blown voice actors, paying them lots of money, probably not enough, but lots of money, and getting these fantastic stories that we all love.
Zach, I'm glad you bring that up. I was watching a video of Grant Kirkhope, the renowned DK revolutionist trailblazer of Rare fame. He was sitting down with the Game Grumps. This was a few years ago, and they were playing through Banjo-Kazooie. He was talking about how a lot of the voices and a lot of the samples you hear in them are him and other devs just like doing these voices, and he said it was because no one wanted to.
Yeah.
They didn't even think like of hiring professional actors. They just needed a voice, and why would they go and pay someone when they could just do it themselves? It wasn't even like a second thought, like, oh yeah, obviously, we'll just do it because no one cares. Yeah. We see the names and we think, oh, it's a little Easter egg, but no, it's because like that's just how it was back then. The devs, were readily available. You could probably just like toss them a couple bucks or not at all. It was just considered part of their work, and that would just be that. But I think moving into the PS2 era, the original Xbox, the GameCube, I feel like voice acting became a little more the norm. You would get fully voice acted RPGs, all the Final Fantasies, Kingdom Hearts, all the other Metal Gears, Jak and Daxter, even games that didn't really need it, at least had voices just thrown in, catchphrases, all kinds of stuff. And, going back to the consoles beforehand, the Dreamcast, Sonic Adventure, even the Super Nintendo would have like a little sample in Super Metroid or in Ninja Turtles where you'd hear,
"The last Metroid is in captivity."
Just a little snippet that probably took up like a quarter of the cartridge. But you just had so much more space on these newer systems. So yeah, it wasn't really a limitation anymore to where you couldn't. It was more just a matter of how and who do you get to implement it.
And especially I feel like that 2000s era was like kind of really nice. I mean, it was before it got too serious, but it's like, hey, we're starting to take it seriously. I know we talked about it last time, and somebody on TikTok said I said a lot of words and didn't say anything. But Silent Hill 2 is great. It had voice direction, and it is weird. People they'll like, oh, this is weird. Get Troy Baker in here to do it, and it's like, no. That's the charm of it. That Takayoshi Sato was like working with the voice actors, making the character look like the voice actor, and like directing them and saying, this is how you say it. This is what you're feeling. This is what's happening. And I feel like a lot of stuff misses that nowadays. There's like the stuff that they remaster. It's like, no, there's context here that you're not getting. That it's supposed to do this. Maybe not in every case, though. Let me make that clear.
Yeah, infamous example, Metroid Other M, the Japanese director who didn't speak English insisted on directing both sets of voice actors, resulting in...
Why am I still alive? A baby. Mother, time to go.
So, like, almost destroyed one of my favorite franchises entirely. Thank God Metroid Dread came back.
Hey, it took about 10 years, but we bounced back, Zach.
Jeez, Pete.
Yeah. No, and I feel like you're right, Rat. It was being taken more seriously, but it wasn't, because what happened in the 90s with Robin Williams, famously, in Aladdin, was celebrity voices became who you call up to voice act, not voice actors. And there is a difference between actors and voice actors in how they perform and how they deliver, which is all fine and well. But, you put that big name on it and people are going to flock to it. which I think is starting to happen to video games now. The earliest example I can remember was Beyond Two Souls having Willem Dafoe and Elliot Page voice act. And even before that, GTA San Andreas had Samuel L. Jackson, just, known names doing voice acting for characters. Not always their best work, I think a lot of people would agree, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you even have, around that time, there was so much of that. Peter Dinklage in Destiny.
Oh, God, I forgot about that, because they removed him from the game because of how bad his voice was, which, to be fair, wasn't entirely his fault. They basically had him record all of that game's dialogue in, a day or something, I think it was, and...
I'm sure he was expensive, because that's hot off of the beginning of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the talk of the town at the time. So,
yeah.
And now it's voiced by Nolan North, which is it's such a crazy switch. Actually, that is a switch from going from a big name actor to going to a big name voice actor for video games. Who, Nolan North, pretty much in every other video game you've ever played.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Either him or Troy Baker. One of them is in every game. Sometimes both. One of my favorite behind the scenes stories of voice acting comes from Uncharted. I think it was the first or the second Uncharted game where Nolan North was playing Nathan Drake. They were going to the set and they were doing all the insults he would say as he punches somebody out in a fight. And it was the day before, and he came home and his kid was playing video games or playing a game or something and said, "Ooh, Kitty just got wet." And Nolan North as a dad was like, "What did you just say?" And the kid was like, "Kitty just got wet." And he's like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Well, cats don't like getting wet, so it's he got wet." And his dad was like, "That's brilliant," and went into the recording booth the next day and said that, and it is in the game as one of the things that Nathan Drake can say as he kills somebody, and it's
Kitty got wet.
What the from the mouths of babes. It's so good.
I have to imagine him explaining that one. No, this has to happen.
There was even Patrick Stewart, by the way, in Morrowind, or sorry, now I'm just naming off every celebrity I know from a video game.
Shoot, who else do they? I'm trying to think of there was, what's his face? Who is canceled now, was in a Call of Duty. Kevin Spacey was in a Call of Duty.
Yes.
That's right. Black Ops 2?
Which was so wild, yeah. Because it was he was giving orders to you, and I'm like, you're Kevin Spacey. You're Kevin, even before everything that came out about Kevin Spacey, I was like, I don't feel like you're the guy for this. But I guess, I don't know, I never watched House of Cards, so... Yeah. I know he's a lot more evil in that.
Well, he did. I think spoilies. I believe he turns out to be a villain in that. So,
hey, there you go.
Realism in gaming.
How dare you spoil a 4-year-old Call of Duty game that I was definitely going to go back and play the story to.
But I mean, we were talking a little bit about voice acting and stuff like that, our favorites, where it's gone. And I don't want to lose that as well. But what type of things are your favorite to voice act? We've talked about, hiring people, and we can come back to this, Sqat, if you want to, but I just want that to go out there.
Yeah, I mean, we can just keep naming names, but I think we made our point. What really makes the difference is hiring the right person for the character. And I feel like some studios definitely put more of a priority on this than others. For myself, I've always been really impressed with the selection that Valve and Rockstar make their voice acting lineup. I always feel like they always choose the right person to play that character. The line delivery always feels so natural. I never even question that it's the character saying what they're saying and not some actor in a sound booth.
They nailed the Gordon Freeman voice casting.
I was about to make that joke, damn it. Because when you said Valve, I was in my head, I was like, oh yeah, the big canon of famously voiced Valve characters, and I was like, no, Portal's protagonist is silent. Well, I guess you would talk about...
I was thinking the robots in Portal more than anything else, but...
And I was like, Gordon Freeman doesn't speak. I guess all the characters in TF2, people love that. And then they stopped making games pretty much, so...
Yeah, now they just sell other people's games and make hardware that...
Billions of dollars.
Other people like to tinker and upgrade.
Yo, side note, Steam Deck is awesome and I love it.
Dude, I'm getting one so soon, I'm so hyped.
It's so good, dude.
But yeah, no, I mean, hey, I'm a broken record, but Red Dead Redemption 2, I love the characters in that. Arthur Morgan is just an iconic, my number 2 video game character of all time after the Diddy Kong. Maybe a little more complex than, my number 1, but nonetheless.
Yeah. On TikTok, apparently his first recording of those horse lines were a little too much, a little too steamy. And there are videos of like just people reacting to it.
Real good. Good girl.
Whoa, this is a little much. So
I'm sure there's some people being like, whoo, whoo, whoo.
Yeah, he really loves his horse. and then even go back to John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 1, Franklin, Trevor, and Michael in GTA 5, and GTA 6. The quality of their voice lineup seems to be continuing in new entry that was revealed unethically so by hackers online. But nonetheless, that has me excited. Yeah, how about yourself?
I mean, my go-to would be like pretty much every Sony first-party game, because now, like, for literally the last 2.5 generations, Sony is like, okay, we make third-person, over-the-shoulder action-adventure games with a huge budget. They're about 20 hours long, and man, oh man, they got a story to tell. And it's like, hey, guess what? Cast for all the Uncharted games, stacked. Cast for God of War, stacked. Cast for Last of Us, stacked. Like
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, like every single one of that. Even Ghost of Tsushima, I loved the voice actor for Jin Sakai, and like all of that. I think pretty consistently across the board. I can't think of a game made by a Sony first party studio where there was a character that I was like, they're bad. I don't think their voice matches up at all, or it doesn't do anything for me. Like pretty much every time I'm like, okay, no, there's somebody's putting in the work on this character and helping me feel more immersed in that world.
Yeah. Brad, how about yourself?
I think that kind of similarly, a lot of the games I play, AAA and AA, I think, and a lot of those, they're selling, hey, here's good voice acting, here's a good story, and it might surprise you. I think that there's a lot of Final Fantasy voice acting that I think isn't very good.
Oh no, blasphemous.
Well, and that's kind of why I like it, and I'm not the kind of person who plays like a lot of Final Fantasy in Japanese. I know a lot of people do that, and I generally don't play a game in Japanese unless, like you said, Ghost of Tsushima, I played that in Japanese just because that helped me feel a little more immersed. But what really, really got me is the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
The voice casting in that
so good
was impeccable. As much as I loved, Steve Burton, the voice of Cloud for so many years, decades maybe at that point, he's really good. But they kind of, hey, we're getting rid of everybody, and I was kind of like, oh, come on, just let them do it and finish it. But I'm so glad they did. Cody Christian as Cloud is just like phenomenal. He's incredible voice actor. Brianna White, I like Brianna White. I watched Strange Rebel Gaming before she was Aerith.
I was say I actually met her at a PAX a few years ago.
Oh, for real?
And she was it was like right as the game was coming out, and she was like, thank you all so much. Like it. And like, I at the time had never really cared about Final Fantasy VII personally, but she was like, thank you so much. Like, I'm so happy to be here, like immersing myself in the culture of the people that love this game. And everybody's like so excited, being so kind to me for like bringing this beloved character to life with a different voice. And I was like, wow, that's so awesome. Like, good for you. And like, just seemed like such a genuinely nice person. So it's cool.
And that's 100%. I agree 100%. I really like Brianna White. I like Strange Rebel Gaming, and just kind of even those main three of Cody Christian, John Eric Bentley, Brianna White, and Britt Barron. Kind of like what you said, Zach. I love that, for example, you have like Erica Lindbeck, who like is an anime voice actor, and she probably feels pretty comfortable in this space. Voice of Jessie Raspberry, for those that you don't know. She kind of was probably like, I get this, I know what's going on, but like...
She was so good. She was so good in that game.
Yeah! and they come in and they nailed it. Like, I didn't know Cody Christian. Like, I think I mentioned that one time, and Shrax was like, oh, from Teen Wolf? And I'm like, yeah, I guess you would know that. So, yeah, I would say that was amazing to me. And like, just to go along with Zach and piggyback on that, everything that Sony has put out like in the last decade has just been so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like as we move forward, we're getting into the point where even historically silent series that never had voice acting, never even hinted at voice acting, such as Legend of Zelda, people are saying, there's no way they're going to release Zelda Wii U / Zelda NX without voice acting throughout. And, that's just throwback to 2016 hype around Breath of the Wild before we knew. But hey, Breath of the Wild, 10 out of 10, am I right?
It is, but voice acting is pretty bad.
I like Rivali.
Rivali, great. Literally everybody in the game is pretty good. But then there's Princess Zelda. She's pretty bad.
Ooh, this is the hottest topic for Rat.
Oh boy.
That's his favorite Princess Zelda.
It is my favorite Princess Zelda.
But do you love the voice acting?
It's okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
It's 7 out of 10.
It's apparent that we still have much more to learn.
Yeah. 7 out of 10 voice acting and a 10 out of 10 video game, so. I can't wait for that voice acting in my Pokemon games. Someday.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, with the effort they've been putting into them, yikes.
Yeah, we could meme on that for a bit.
That's a contentious topic right now, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're gonna get your Norman Reedus digitized, your Keanu Reeves digitized in big AAA games, but you're also gonna get that professional voice acting at its core that's based around hiring the right person for the right character. So I just want to take a moment to shout out Kevin Conroy. He just passed recently. Even outside of video games, he was the voice of Batman for so many decades, going back to the animated series in the 90s all the way up through modern day. And famously, the Arkham games, he really elevated all three of those that he voiced for. And I think he just brought so much emotion, so much gravitas to that character. And, really, I think now that he is gone, I think that the ending of Arkham Knight is very fitting. Potential spoilers, because it really did bring his Batman throughout the course of decades to a proper and fitting finale. So,
yeah, I think it's hard to beat that when you talk about people who are just legends, have done so much and for so long. It's hard to say that. I think for me, I'm going to say, and because he wished me happy birthday, by thanks of Sqat Cobbler.
Hard Snake arranged that.
All right, Hard Snake. David Hayter.
Ratnado, you have exceptional taste in video games and video game characters.
I mean, so good.
It's hard to see him as anything else except for Snake, like when he was in Bloodstained. I was just like, it's just
He's
Snake.
in Bloodstained? What? I'll play that right now.
Yeah, I've been telling you. That's why I keep telling you to play it.
I've brought this spoiler on myself, and it's become hype.
Yeah. And he's pretty good. And I mean, kind of runner up, just to not say the names. I think some of the names that I think you guys might be thinking as well, but John Segan. He's one of my favorite voice actors, the voice of Solidus Snake and Canderous Oro in Knights of the Old Republic. So, kind of just a cool voice that I always liked.
For me, I'll go and say Ashley Birch is up there for me. She most notably was Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn. She's also Tiny Tina in Borderlands. But she's done like a ton of stuff across the spectrum. I'm actually looking at her sheet right now. I'm geeking out that she replaced Laura Bailey as the voice of Chun-Li in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That's wild.
Whoa.
It's a little cheating because in my head, I've been following her career since she was a YouTuber, and now she is like a full, huge voice actor, and just crushes everything she does. So she's dope.
Our normal lead in question, hey Sqat, what you plan? Modeled after, hey Ash, what you plan? That's kind of where I got that idea. So there you go.
I love Hey Ash, what you plan? Like such a good YouTube series.
All right. That will bring our discussion to a close. Zach, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on today. Please tell the good people listening where they can check out you and your team.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm Zach of SaveDataTeam. We're like a YouTube, Twitch collective of people. Literally every platform is at SaveDataTeam, whether that's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And as of this week, we just now have a Tumblr, just in case Twitter falls down. I had to get on that Tumblr train. I'm a 31-year-old man. I'm trying to learn a new social media. It's terrible.
Understandable.
The thing we're most known for is our Ace Attorney Let's Play series. Me and my other friend who went to college with me for acting, doing all the voice acting. And then the third member of the team for that stream is an actual lawyer. So we play through the game. It's about being a lawyer, in case you didn't know. And he says, hey, this is how it would work, or hey, this isn't. Spoiler alert, pretty much every single time it is not at all how law works in the real world. And it is quite funny to see him get a little exasperated about that. But that series is like our biggest thing, and it's definitely worth checking out. We have a great playlist of like the best moments too. So if you want to hop in, just dip your toes in.
They also have an actual bear, so you'll definitely want to check out Save Data on Twitch, on YouTube.
That reminded me that I was going to make the joke. The joke I've been thinking of for like 2 weeks is, hey, what's up? It's Scrollies. We're podcasting with an actual podcaster.
Hey.
What's the thing? Like we did that. Like we made that series and it started doing well, and we're like, wait, okay, so what other things can we do with an actual blank?
Yeah.
And so like we've played cyberpunk bartending with an actual bartender. We've done Disco Elysium with an actual communist, because that game's all about political ideology. Just so many more like that, trying to recreate that kind of feeling and that vibe. But it's a lot of fun.
I myself have my YouTube series going on right now, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the original one, playing through that. Those are going up each week, so check that out. Ratnado.
Hey, bad internet again. I'm trying to figure it out. We're supposed to have fire before the end of the year, but I think by suggestion of shout out Ultrajonic, I'm going to start recording Final Fantasy XIV main scenario quest. We're in Stormblood, and I'll be uploading that somewhere, probably on like Twitch Replay or whatever, or something like that, just to get it popping. So come check that out. And also, as soon as I get good internet, there's a bunch of series we're going to be doing. Famously, another voice actor, I'm shouting everybody out, @J_VO, Discord's next Foley, where we have 5 contestants on, and I play sounds that I found, and whoever can mimic them best wins.
Oh, that's a really good idea for a show.
Lots to be looking forward to as this year comes to a close, as we move into next year. Lots of content ahead for you guys. All right, we're going to be calling it here, but thanks for listening. We will catch you in the next one. See ya!
Bye!
I think moving into the PS2 era, I feel like voice acting became a little more the norm. You would get fully voice acted RPGs, all the Final Fantasies, correct me otherwise, were fully voice acted. Kingdom Hearts, no. I rewind that.
No, I'm just kidding. You're good.
You don't play with me like that. We don't need another Smash as a side scroller situation on our hands.
Oh no.